All right, we are live and welcome to a new episode of Fitness Talk Overtime. I'm your host, Bobby Melendez, and I'm going to try to read this line even though Brett ain't in here yet. Evan's already in the comments. Evan, as always, brother, it's good to hear from you. Evan says, I'm going to read from his script here. Hi, I'm your host, Bobby Melendez. Welcome to another episode of Fitness Talk Overtime with me, and as always, Tua's and Austin Jackson's biggest fan, Brett Lagasse. As always, do not forget to like and subscribe to the show, Fitz Talk Network, the channel. Man, we got a fun show for you guys today. I'm sure if you follow all of Dolphins YouTube across the YouTube scape, you're going to see a lot of talk about with the Dolphins offense, defense. Tua's already showing out with Tyreek hitting big 60-yard throws. Of course, there was a famous video shared showing up on Dolphins training camp of Tua hitting a beautiful 60-yard throw to Tyreek Hill. I mean, that looks like that chemistry is already paying off for Tua. And, of course, there was some plays here. I think he had a 40-yarder to Easy. And, you know, I think an interception today. What's up, Steve? Good to see you, brother. You know, a lot of people like to make a lot of big deals of training camp. You know, if we're going to make a big deal about a 60-yard throw, we should also make a big deal about Austin Jackson, who, in my opinion, obviously, I think in everybody's opinion, he struggled last year in the years that we've had him. And there was a video that was leaked of him being bum rushed and pancaked by Jaylen Phillips in one of the practice videos, landing on his ass. And I was a little worried about that and tweeted such. And somebody came at me and said, "Hey, man, why are we putting so much? Why do we care so damn much? They're in shorts and a shirt." And that same person was hyping up a video of Tua throwing that 60-yard bomb. So if we're going to put that much energy in Tua throwing that 60-yard bomb in shorts and shirt, we should do this. We should put the same effort and the same energy, keeping that energy, with Austin Jackson, who has a history of struggling. Now, I believe Austin Jackson has it in him to be a very good or a decent tackle in the NFL. I believe in this coaching staff. I believe that the staff that Mike McDaniel has put together with Applebaum and Frank Smith, who was obviously he's offensive coordinator, but also offensive line coach with the Raiders. I think that they're going to get the best out of these players. So I am worried by Austin Jackson falling on his ass in practice, but at the same time, I got Finn stuff right here, brother. I came home from work. I had to jump on and do this. I got kids. You know how it is, Evan. I got my Jason Taylor jersey over there, man. Calm down. But I'm wearing some colors, man. It represents. But anyway, I wasn't saying that, I'm not the jury. I'm not giving a verdict to Austin Jackson's career as a right tackle for the Miami Dolphins just yet. It is training camp. But, he's obviously, I've heard that he's in great shape. He looks like he's lost some weight. Same thing with Eichenberg. Eichenberg looks amazing. I saw him in an interview. They both look great, but there's a lot of eyeballs on them. The Dolphins didn't do much with the offensive line this offseason. I mean, minus Terron Armstead. And of course, they signed Connor Williams. But they really revamped the wide receiver room, as we've discussed. But the offensive line is not that much different. The only thing that's really changed besides the two new signings is the coaching staff. Now, can Terron Armstead stay healthy? Can Connor Williams succeed at center? Because that's where he's projected, even though he was a guard in Dallas and he was the 11th best guard in the NFL. They want to try him out at center. He did play center in Dallas, but he struggled. He only played in preseason a little bit and in camp, and he struggled. That's why they put him back at guard and then ended up pulling him at guard, actually benching him because he struggled with penalties. So the offensive line is still a question. So I think it's very justified to be concerned when you see a video at practice, at training camp, in shorts and a shirt, because we're putting the same energy in a pass. We're going to put the same energy in the offensive line. If they're struggling, we need to point it out, because if last year some of the excuses with the struggle at quarterback, whether it's Jacoby or Tua, was the offensive line. Now, if the offensive line is still the same offensive line, it doesn't matter if you got Tyreek, T.O., Jerry Rice and whomever, and Ricky Williams back there, your offense ain't going to do a damn thing if your line is trash. Tua's not going to be the guy we hope that he's going to be. If that offensive line is still the same. Yeah, Steve's saying he's having trouble with shotgun snaps in camp. Yeah, man. I mean, it's you hoped. I mean, I want him to succeed. I want him to rip that bust label right off his chest. And I believe this coaching staff is the right staff to do it. I think McDaniel has his finger on the heartbeat of this team. I believe that the players especially believe in him. Obviously, Tua is a different guy. I don't know about a different quarterback just yet, but I'll say a different guy, especially when he speaks to the media. I love the attitude. I think it's a different dude, and I think that could help him this coming season. But of course, it's on him. But he's not going to get any help with the offensive line if they continue to do what was shown at training camp. 72 Finn's logo. Thanks for tuning in, man. Finn's logo says offensive line is a big question mark. 2 good additions and Hunt isn't enough. Plus, no depth. If these new coaches think 3 guys make a good offensive line, then this staff is stupid. Hey, you know what? Again, with me, my opinion last season, because everybody was talking about we needed to draft offensive linemen, we needed to sign offensive linemen. To me, it wasn't about investing in that offensive line. As Evan would point out, I've been saying it's about the development of the offensive line. That's where Flores failed, in my opinion. He did not bring in a good enough coaching staff to get the best out of these young players, whether it be the quarterback or the offensive line. Jesse Davis, his career went downward. I mean, of course, his name is blasphemy right now amongst Dolphin fans, but there's a reason why they sent him to that 2-year or that extension before they cut him. He showed some promise, and then all of a sudden, before he's hired these guys, his career went down the drain. Austin Jackson. Oh, excuse me. You're right, though. It's about development. It's about development, not investment. But 2 additions, and Terran Armstead, who's obviously an All-Pro. Okay. One of the best players with the Saints, left tackle. We got him. The fans went crazy. We went nuts. We got a tackle. But they should have added more. They got Connor Williams. Now, Connor Williams, yes, the 11th best guard in the NFL last season, but he also was benched for penalties. He had 11 or plus penalties, one of the highest penalty guys in the NFL. And they tried him out at center. They didn't like him there. They put him back at guard, but the Dolphins are trying him out at center. Eichenberg, and Jackson are the question marks. Hunt is not. Hunt is okay unless he takes a downward spiral, which would be horrible. But if the offensive line continues to go the way they're going, and there's no real turnaround, and like you said, 2 additions, that's it. They didn't do nothing else. If the coaching staff is not what I think they can be, and I believe the coaching staff will be the difference, the Dolphins, that's going to be a problem. Because all the hype videos we're seeing online of touchdown passes and everything else, people are going to start to feel really bad very early. Evan says, Flores costs many players a year. Really, Flores by the personnel decisions. And I'm not, I was in favor of letting go of Flores during the losing streak. But I liked Flores as a coach. What he did with that defense, everything. But the writing was on the wall with him during that 7-game losing streak. I think it was 7 games, forgive me. That losing streak. I said him and Greer needed to be gone by the end of the season because the Dolphins, just like we're doing this season, the fans, we were all hyped about Miami going into last season. Okay, we were all hyped. And it was after that first game, New England. Everybody was excited we won that first game, but I kind of saw the writing on the wall. I remember on Finn's Talk today with Hank, I told him last season after that game, I said, man, it wasn't that impressive. Of course, they go on that 7-game losing streak, and that's when I said Flores needs to go. But I wasn't all against Flores. But personnel decisions killed him. Starting Fitzpatrick in the first place, the first year he was here, and then not getting a chance to start Josh Rosen, and then when it came for Tua, starting Fitzpatrick again, and then pulling Fitzpatrick during when you were winning to put Tua in just to take Tua out when he struggled, when you should have left the kid in. You should have let him stay in the game, let him learn, let him take his bumps, let him get better, but you didn't. You pulled him out. And now it's where we are now, plus personnel decisions with the offensive line and everything else. Robert Jones, absolutely. We got to see it. I mean, it's development, guys. If the coaching staff, Mike McDaniel and company, they've hired a great staff for Tua and the entire offense. Defense is pretty much the same, minus some nostalgia hires and Pat Surtain, Sam Madison. We'll see how that does, especially for somebody like Noah Ibenagany, who's in the same boat as Jackson as having that bust label. If he can take that next step, I'm talking about Igbo now, which I'm excited about. I think he got a pass deflection here and there. I mean, he's playing against some top-tier talent in Jaylen Watson and Tyreek Hill. And he's getting some top-tier coaching in Pat Surtain and Sam Madison, who did it at the highest level. And obviously, Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, that kid has no excuse not to succeed. This is his year. I mean, there's a lot of bullseyes on these players coming into this season. There's a lot of hype. But just like last year, as I was saying, there was a lot of hype going with Miami last year. But offensive line was the weak link. This year, offensive line continues to be a weak link because if Terron Armstead goes down, who's your left tackle? He has a history of injuries. What happens if he goes down? Who's your left tackle? We're going to put Austin Jackson there or Eichenberg? How comfortable are you if one of the guys are there? So that's the thing. We got to it's trusting the coaching staff, but it's understandable not to trust them based off history. That's why I'm very concerned based off what I saw. And yes, it's just one play. Yes, he may have tripped. So somebody threw that at me. He may have tripped. Okay, I get that. That happens. But awareness is key too. Play like a veteran. You're a 2-3 year veteran now. Maybe we will need to consider Ironman football. Our offensive line perform at the level of the defensive line, and we are golden. Absolutely. If the offensive line could just take a next step, we're okay. We're okay. But what we're seeing what the offense has done, hearing what the players have said, not just offensive line now, but the receivers look like they are what's being advertised. Tyreek, Jaylen Waddle, Easy E, Cedric Wilson and company. Those guys look like what they've been advertised to be. So that is amazing for Tua and the Dolphin fans because our wide receiver unit could be the number one in the league going after next season. And no matter what happens with the quarterback position, because that is a question mark, we need to wait and see how this plays out. No matter what happens, we got the offense, especially the talent, weapon-wise. Offensive line is a separate conversation, but weapon-wise, we have an offense ideal for any decent quarterback, especially Tua being there right now if he could take that next step. Finn's logo says, and again, they're trying players on the offensive line that are playing out of position, like Connor Williams. I agree with that. They should leave Theodore at center, put Connor back at his natural position, and what do I know? Nothing. No, you're right. But I wasn't comfortable with Dieter. To me, he's a backup, and that's what he is right now. But here's the issue with that. You just said depth. You brought up depth a little earlier, too. He's injury prone, as Evan has brought up right here. He's injury prone. He's injured right now. He's walking around with a walking boot. I don't know what the hell happened to him. I don't know if it's a sprain or whatnot, but he's out. So that's scary for the Dolphins. And people, I understand that. I understand the fans. We are all excited about the potential of this football team, but it's things like the offensive line that can kill it for us right now. If Connor Williams goes down, whether he's at center or left guard, if Terron Armstead goes down, you got Austin Jackson probably at left tackle, Eichenberg at left guard, Dieter at center, Robert Hunt, Robert Jones. How do you feel about that offensive line if your two guys go down? Or he slipped in the shower? Only the Dolphins. He slipped in the shower? Damn it. Well, they put on pads tomorrow, so we'll see how things go. I agree, Steve. Treader. I know that's a popular pick for fans, JC Treader. That would be a veteran hire. If they move Connor Williams to guard and sign Treader, I think that would be the case. But if they're keeping Connor Williams at center, I very highly doubt they'll sign Treader. Torque, Solomon, Kinley. Hey, we'll see. We'll see. But no, I mean, again, offensive line is a concern for me and has been this week. And of course, the quarterback position, Tua is doing good, man. I mean, yeah, no, he's had interceptions, and I agree with the guy I was talking to on Twitter. You know, it's shorts and a shirt. We shouldn't overreact to negative plays, and we shouldn't overreact to positive plays. But it is good to see that chemistry is being built between the young quarterback, the star wide receivers, probably 1, 2, 3 best wide receiver in the NFL, and the rest of the guys, Jaylen Waddle and everything. I ain't sad. I'm fine. I'm just going at it, brother. I mean, they went all in on Tua and surround him with good talent, and they don't go sign a veteran center that's available and get depth. We will see. But you're right. One guy goes down, we are in trouble. That's the key. That's the key. Reality will set in. That's going to be a reality check. If a guy goes down, then we'll know for sure where this team stands, because depth is an issue with this offensive line. Let's talk about the offensive line, how it projects right now, actually, since we're talking about it. Brett should be joining us shortly, but I also know that we have another guest, Dave Stager. God, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But Dave is a new member of Fins Talk Network, and he'll be with Brett on a new show that airs Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right after Bottoms Up, Fins Up with Mike Brown and his dad, Lewis. It's called Huddle Up and Wait. The first thing first about these two guys, you all know Brett. Evans knows Brett. But both of them are veterans, and they wanted to get together and do a show together. I'm very honored and humbled. They want to do it on the Fins Talk Network, and they want to talk about the NFL. So even though it's Fins Talk Network, you guys know we talked about everything. We got the Miami Heat tomorrow. Goon Squad is actually airing tomorrow, not on Wednesday. And we got other shows we're trying to work on. But we have this one, which is called Huddle Up and Wait with Dave Stager and Brett Legacy. They're going to be talking about the NFL. They're going to go around the league. And so that'll be great to kind of offer some depth, keyword, for the NFL Network. Fins Talk Network. But projected offensive line. So talking about Austin Jackson and Liam Eichenberg, both have spoken to the media and have kind of spoiled what positions they could be playing. As I referenced at the top of the show, Austin Jackson, again, has been in great shape. Some have said he's lost weight, so I'm happy for him. As long as he shows it on the field, that's what it matters. But he has said that he's at right tackle, where Eichenberg has revealed that he's been playing at left guard, getting advice from Austin Jackson and Connor Williams. So right now, our projected offensive line is left tackle Terran Armstead, left tackle Armstead, left guard is Eichenberg, center right now is Connor Williams, right guard is Robert Hunt, and your right tackle is Austin Jackson. So that right now, unless, of course, preseason changes that, maybe Robert Jones or Kinley show up, maybe Dearler steals the job back if he's healthy from Connor Williams, and Connor Williams moves to left guard. It still can change. But if that's your projected offensive line, I guess I have to be okay with it. I'm okay with it. But again, how comfortable are we that Austin Jackson is protecting Tua's blind side? Tua's left-handed quarterback, so his blind side is that side. How concerned are we? I'm pretty damn concerned, unless he shows something different. I'm rooting for the kid, man, but I don't like what I saw. Players will get cut and Greer will snap someone. Yeah, you got the acorn scenario, and that could happen. Absolutely. We'll see. We'll see. Excuse me. Now, also, Deshaun Watson. Did we dodge a bullet or what? For some fans, actually, because I actually saw on Twitter today, some fans were a little tiffed that he only got 6 games and we could have had him. Dolphins could have had him. I'm not worried about it. I'm really not. I'm not interested in the negativity. I'm not interested in the drama. I'm not interested in the distractions. So what happened with Deshaun Watson? Former U.S. district attorney or district judge Sue Robinson, after her, she was in a hearing with them and all that, recommended today that Deshaun Watson be suspended for 6 games next season due to 24 civil lawsuits made against Watson. Jeremy Full of ESPN tweeted the following. Sue L. Robinson's comprehensive 15-page conclusion stated that though Deshaun Watson violated the personal conduct policy, there was just not enough evidence to justify an indefinite suspension, per source. This is a Fowler's tweet. The belief is that's what the league wanted. They wanted that indefinite suspension. I assume that would have been just for the year. End quote. Watson had reached confidential settlements with 20 of those 24 plaintiffs. The NFL does have final say, but have yet to appeal the ruling. I did see some fans obviously were happy we didn't get Watson, and there were some Darish were a little pissed because it wasn't for the whole year. You could have had, you could have been whoever your backup was for 6 games, and then you would have had Watson for the rest of the season. And after that, I think the Dolphins, my opinion is, and I was at the beginning before everything started coming out. If you go back to the first episodes of Finn's Talk Today, when he first started getting linked with Miami, and I'm giving full disclosure here, is that my thing was whether you were on the side of trading for Watson or trading for Tua, you're not wrong. This was before all the cases came out, because Watson was an elite quarterback. He's showing he's very young. He's a sure thing. If you wanted him, I get it. If you wanted to stick with Tua, I get that too. Potential hasn't hit his ceiling. You don't know what you got. You already spent a first-round pick on him. I got both sides. Now, when the details started coming out, and 5, 10, 15, 20, 24 cases, come on. Who wants that drama going on? And the Dolphins seemed like they did. They just wanted them to settle. That's not an argument. That was just fact. But now that he went to Cleveland, whether it was 6 games, 1 game, he played this season or not, he got suspended. Thank God. Yeah, you could play the safe card and say it's because of the accusations. But if you look at it as a fan and if you look at it as in a player's point of view, who wants that drama? Who wants that distractions? You got people hating your team because you signed a guy with that many cases against him and what he could have done or what he did. It's just not worth it. Leaving it to the fact of Tua's potential with this offense, as Evan said, if you were picked between Watson or Cheetah, I would take Cheetah too. I'd take Tyreek Hill over Watson because Tua's potential's there. We don't know for sure. You could assume what you know. You could assume he's going to be great, or you could assume he's not going to be good, but we don't know. Now he has the offense, he has the weapons, he has everything to show out. He has a coach that believes in him. Reportedly, the other one did not. He has that guy now. It's his job now to show him. The Dolphins do have enough distractions. We don't need another one. Can you imagine what camp would have looked like right now? You imagine what Mike McDaniel, if he's the head coach, having to answer questions about Deshaun Watson, who had, he had nothing to do with in Houston. It would have been a headache. But the distractions this year is our current quarterback is Tua. Is he going to be good? Is it going to show out? Are fans going to finally shut up and be happy? Or are there some fans that say, hey, I'm right, and he wasn't the guy, and we move on, and, with the 2 first-round picks and everything else? We'll see. We'll see. Now, make sure I got everything here. Man, what about Jaylen Phillips? That's something I'm happy people are recognizing him. I remember some people wanted to give up on him already. But Jaylen Phillips, man, that dude, this offseason he put the work. He looks it off the field and on it. And I'm not saying as a player when I say this. I was just talking about as the way he carries himself. It reminds me a lot of Jason Taylor. Well-spoken, he commands the room. And then play on the field, though, separate from that. The way he turned it around in the second half of the season with that defense, and the potential of what he can have, you're right. And people want Najee Harris over him. That's right. And you know what? And running back is still a question mark. That's the thing. I mean, Najee Harris might turn into an all-pro. Jaylen Phillips might do the same. We're going to be okay with that. Dolphins, that's the other question mark, is the running back position. Raheem Mostert is healthy. He's a go. Good. Chase Edmonds is probably going to be your starting running back. Okay. Sony Michel, bell cow, could be your power back. And, of course, Myles Gaskin. What happens with him? There's a lot of question marks at the running back position. It's a committee, which is the way NFL is kind of going now, which is understandable. But you do want that bell cow type running back. You know, I am frozen, huh? Well, hopefully it's fixed. I see I'm frozen up there. Might be a YouTube issue. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm good now. I think I'm good now. Am I good now, guys? Let me check this out for a second here. All right. That might be all right. Thanks, Steve. No, you're right. It's all right, Evan. You're right. Finn's logo. Myles Gaskin is a nice guy. And you know what, though? Truthfully, I believe he'll be very successful. He would be successful in this offense, in a Mike McDaniel Shanahan type offense. But I just don't know if he fits in regards of all the other players. You know, Sony Michel, Raheem Mostert, Chase Edmonds, those are guys signed by Mike McDaniel's hearsay. Myles Gaskin is not. He's probably going to be the odd man out. If Miami does get rid of him, I hope they trade him and get a pick for him. You know, I hope they don't just let him go. And if they could keep him, great, because I think he'll succeed as a weapon, wide receiver type of weapon like Mostert. And, you know, we'll see what they do. Man, what's this here? Let me make sure. Let's check out your guys' questions here so I don't miss out on anybody. Frozen. Yeah, well, I saw that about Chris Greer. Hey, look, you know, and like I said before, this season's it's Miami is at a key point right now when in regards to this season. There's a lot to be excited about. A lot to be excited about with Mike McDaniel as your head coach and the youth he brings, the excitement, the energy. I mean, there's a lot to be excited about the team just for that. If the team would have stayed the same, no Tyreek, no kind of big signings, no Terran Armstead, whatever, and they just hired McDaniel, yes, people would have more reason to be concerned, and the critics of Tua, et cetera, all this whatnot. But the team would have still been people would most have been hyped about this coming season because of the energy and that Mike McDaniel brings to this football club. But you add in Tyreek Hill, maybe the number 1, 2 receiver, depending on how you rate it. You know, you got a Devontae Adams, you got a Cooper Kupp in there, and you had Tyreek, and that's your top receiver. And we got one of those guys in Tyreek. Plus, what Tyreek has been to Tua already without even playing a snap. I mean, you know, you think of what Mike McDaniel did on that airplane when he talked to Tua on the phone. You see a big smile on Tua's face. And you got Tyreek, who is leading the bandwagon for Tua right now. I mean, really, when it comes to celebrity, not fan-wise, but celeb-wise and player-wise, no player, Devontae Parker, Albert Wilson, any of those guys who were receivers for Tua are doing what Tyreek has done. Not that that's their job, but, you know, he has really gone out and above and beyond to lead this Tua train to say, hey, this guy could be the guy. This guy has that potential. He's the most accurate quarterback in football, he says. He's really, really putting a bullseye on himself by saying this and putting a bullseye more on Tua, but he believes in Tua enough to put that bullseye on it, to put that on his back, and he believes in himself, which love the confidence. Love it. And, I mean, he's shown it. Of course, he had the best quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in football in Pat Mahomes, but he's hoping he gets something close to that with Tua. I believe Ahmed has a better chance to make it. Some do, and he might. I believe that Gaskin fits better with this offense, especially for a quarterback like Tua, who might need to get the ball out fast if we're stuck with Jackson at left tackle if Armstead goes down. What's up, Cat for Life? How you doing, brother? Evan says, if Flores was still the coach, I would be the most negative person on the network. No, you wouldn't. See, that's a lie. That's a lie. You'd find something positive. You'd say, he's won every season. He has a winning record. You'd find a reason to make it positive, Evan. Come on, brother. Come on. You know it's true. And you wouldn't be wrong either. I mean, he despite all that negative press, despite all of that, despite him being like Adam Gase and thinking he knows better than everybody else, somebody would have found something positive to say about him staying as coach. Heard Noah got burnt a few times today. Not looking good for Imbenagany. Shaking my head. Iggy. I mean, Imbenagany, I'm rooting for that kid, man. Flores was my cure for insomnia. Oh, man. But in regards to Imbenagany, he's another one. You want to talk about, I don't know what he did in practice and maybe what we're hearing more about now, being burnt and stuff, but he never really had a chance to play in real games last year. And since he's been drafted, he was always, not activated and never had a shot. He probably was drafted too early. It was a bad decision. With all the good, this is the thing, people want to throw all the good decisions that Greer has done throughout his career as the GM for a short career, but he's been here for almost 20 plus years. You want to throw all the good stuff, Jalen Wall, Javon Holland, Jaylen Phillips, whatever. There's a lot of bad draft picks by Chris Greer. But Iggy, just like Austin Jackson, I use them. I wouldn't compare Iggy to Tua. Tua is a little more talented, obvious, but the question mark, he still has a question mark. But Iggy is more like Austin Jackson, that type of court. We don't know what we have in them. We don't know what we have in Iggy at all because he hasn't played. I'm hoping, though, that with Sam Madison, Pat Surtain, Xavier Howard, who he's had, Byron Jones, who he's had, and that new staff, and he gets a chance to play. I hope he shows out, man. I'm rooting for the kid, just like Jackson. I'm rooting for him. But the ball's in their court. This is the year. If you don't do it, you're gone, brother. That's it. This is a make or break year for a lot of players in the Dolphins team because the window is a little tight because we signed Tyreek. We traded for Tyreek. We signed Terran Armstead. People are looking at the Dolphins right now. And the eyeballs are on them. And so, especially with Tyreek, you have to win because he's going to demand it, especially since he won in Kansas City. He made the choice. Of course, anybody would choose Miami over New York, the Jets. But he chose the Dolphins over the New York Jets. So he's going to want to win. And if he doesn't win this year, there's going to be some major changes going into next year. And, Ross has been embarrassed. Not only did the Dolphins did not make the playoffs last year, he fired Flores, thought he was going to make some big deal to bring in Sean Payton and Tom Brady and all this whatnot. And Flores sued him. I mean, and there's extra embarrassment, paying to lose, tampering with Brady. It's going to be interesting if the Dolphins don't win. But, again, McDaniel with the energy, the youth he brings, all that whatnot, the way the players are reacting and with him and et cetera, that's the biggest addition. That's the most, to me, again, I'll say it. I wasn't a fan of hiring him at first. I wanted a veteran coach. I wanted either what the guy's name from Dallas, the former coach of the Falcons. First off, I either Harbaugh or Doug Peterson. But when I noticed those guys weren't going, I wanted the guy from Dallas, Dan Quinn. I wanted Dan Quinn because of the staff he had put together. Because that's where Flores failed, was personnel and the staff. And Quinn had showed that he could put together a staff. So I didn't want another first-time head coach. I did not want another first-time head coach because I was concerned about the staff he was going to put together. And I didn't want another Adam Gase or Brian Flores who thought they knew better than everybody else when they hadn't done a damn thing. You know, they try to go with that Saban, Belichick philosophy. But here's the difference between Belichick and Saban and all of those guys. Those guys have won. You've done nothing. And, you know, then you get McDaniel. I started researching more about the guy. Loved, you know, he's gone through a lot. Loved what I heard about him, what I read about him, between former players and coaches. And, you know, especially he came from that Dan Quinn tree. And you think of Sean McVay. You think of Matt LaFleur out of Green Bay. You know, and, of course, Shanahan in San Francisco. So we got him. And, you know, I was happy to hear, you know, I liked his vibe, but what I was more happy with was the staff he put together. That's why I think it's more important. He's going to be the most important hire for us this season, because if he doesn't succeed, we're going to fall flat in developing these players. But I think he's going to be so key for all these guys. Such a key piece. Yeah, you are, Evan. Thank you. And I'm not going to Izu Kanma. I just say Easy E, man. It's so much easier. Imagine Flores taking a selfie with the media. That would not have happened. Prison photo. Come on, guy. Come on. Let's see what else we got going on here. Preach, Bobby. Thanks, Cap for life. I appreciate you, brother. We don't have 2 3 years. No, we don't. That's what people don't understand. That's why, you know, people don't want to look at that part of the picture here, you know, is that now that you got Tyreek and you have these eyeballs on Miami, the ESPN, NFL Network, all these guys, they know that they have to win. They have to do something, at least win a playoff game. Because if you don't, you are, you know, pardon my French, shit out of luck. You know, a lot of guys are going to be looking for another job this year. That's why, and I know, you know, it's not the same situation, but I fear it could be a David Cooley situation for Mike McDaniel because of Stephen Ross if they fail this season. Of course we know that. But I'd rather the head coach be the head coach. I'm not a fan of a head coach calling plays. I'd rather him delegate that task and focus on coaching the game, coaching the players. Because Adam Gase did that. Where was Adam Gase when the defense was on the field? He was on the bench with Ryan Tannehill. Was not paying attention at all. So I'm not a big fan of that. And we got Mr. Lagasse on. What's up, my brother?
What's up, man? Oh, so apparently I was not backstage and my computer did not register the click. So I was sitting here waiting the whole time. Like, man, where's Bobby? Meanwhile, you're waiting on me.
Whoa. Well, I was like, man, Brett fell asleep or something, man. All right, that's all right.
Apparently technical difficulties here.
Well, you know, man, we've been talking about everything and anything here. You know, we discussed Dolphins training camp so far. We've talked about the projected offensive line and, of course, a little bit about Deshaun Watson. So let's follow back up since you're here. First off, Dolphins training camp. Man, you know, so I've been saying what I've been bringing up basically just to touch you back in or retouch you back in is that the offense, yes, there's been a lot of big plays. A lot of people putting a lot of validation in the 60-yard pass, which is great. It's exciting to see Tua and Tyreek gaining that chemistry, and even before they even really played a game. But putting that same energy in a video like Austin Jackson falling on his ass, you know, which the offensive line has been a problem. So
where's the consistency?
So
you know what I mean?
So, you know, you could touch on that, but in everything you've seen about the training camp, man, tell me what you're thinking about what Dolphins have done so far.
So, like, you're seeing things that they're showing. One, X has been like a blanket on everybody. Waddle, Tyreek. I like that. I like X is the guy all the time. I see Noah Igbenogany, Trill Williams are stepping up in place of Byron Jones. See what happens if pads on and go 11-11. Trill Williams, I'm excited what he could bring. I'm not one of these guys who thinks like, oh, he played for the Dolphins. He's a dark horse. Everybody's going to make the roster. That's not what I'm saying. But Trill Williams has some talent. The dude's skilled. He's a ball hawk. He always finds the ball. I'd like to see him, I think, eventually be Eric Rowe's replacement or play safety. Then you got Veron McKinley playing there. So there's a lot of competition. I've noticed just talking to people about depth chart and like who do you think rounds out this roster, just like the running back situation. Myles Gaskin, Savon Ahmed, Jared Dokes, and then you have Zamir White, or Zaquandre White. So you got all these running backs at the bottom of the roster. Who makes the fourth spot? And normally, like, who cares who makes the fourth spot? But Mostert, Edmonds, Michelle, they've all had dinged up. None of them have been like bell cow backs. Michelle has probably had the most carries, averages about 13 carries a game in his career. So you think, well, what happens if Mostert goes down? He's coming back from an injury. It was said he might not play football again with his age, his injury. And then you got Edmonds, who's never really been a true every down back. So where do you go? You can go Gaskin, who we've relied on in the past. You can go Ahmed, who played for the 49ers through part of camp, and then we signed him. But that's kind of like, well, they were familiar with him in 2020, right? But then he also waived him. So, like, how does that go? Jared Dokes, what is he? Does he fit this system? Does he not? And then you look at White, who they signed as undrafted free agent. And I'm sure, almost 100% positive, that McDaniel had something to do with signing him because the run game's his baby. So then you look at wide receiver, who's going to make the last three? Well, you have the top three, right? So we already know who the top three guys are. Now, who's the rest? Well, I mean, you got Easy Conma and Braylon Sanders just showing off, right? But
Braylon Sanders, I saw some on him too. I'm sorry that I cut you off, but
no, go ahead.
I've been reading.
Oh, we can talk Braylon Sanders.
Yeah, man, hit me up on Braylon Sanders. Tell me about this kid, man.
So the one thing at the Senior Bowl I really liked, he had a down year at Ole Miss this year, and it's probably the reason he went undrafted. His production wasn't like laminate in college, but like when you watch him, he's smooth. So he gets in and out of his cuts so smooth. He doesn't like when the ball's in the air, he doesn't tense. He just catches the ball. Like everything's natural with him. And I love that. He doesn't have great size. He's not like the most explosive, but everything's smooth. Everything's consistent. And if he could just be like clean up his route running a little bit and just get consistent, like with finding his depth in the routes and varying his routes, I think like he could be a good receiver. He catches the ball so well. And like I watching him at the Senior Bowl practices, I'm like, who's this kid? This kid's constantly getting him. Who's number 5? He's always open. And like we're watching the drills and like 11-on-11, I'm like, dude, there goes Braylon Sanders again. He's open. But I really like him. And I think they're really pushing like Preston Williams, Lynn Bowden Jr. See Cat for Life talk about Lynn Bowden Jr. down there. I think Lynn Bowden Jr. and Preston Williams are kind of just on the outside looking in at this point. I would trade Lynn Bowden, honestly, at this point. And there's nothing against him. It's just camp. It's tough. But River Craycraft, Deadman, Sanu, Sherfield, they signed Sanu for a reason, right? So these guys, like, who's going to make that roster? And they have to play special teams. So I think Braylon Sanders could be a protective practice squad player. I think Izukama makes the team, and he's going to play special teams. I think someone like Sherfield makes a team, and probably Sanu because he can block and he's a veteran. So like there's a lot of depth, but where there's not depth, offensive line, and it's killing me. Austin Jackson trips with no pads. Here's my problem with this, but
it's a shirt and shorts. It's short
right.
shorts.
You shouldn't be on the ground.
Why are we freaking out about it?
Right. But people are freaking out. Like, oh, don't freak out. Look, man, Austin Jackson has had terrible footwork at left. He tripped up Liam Eichenberg when he was playing left guard. Like, his feet are always wide. His feet are outside of his shoulders all the time. And here's the problem with that. It's coachable to fix. Yes. But the problem is it's not coachable when he does it in a panic and in a haste. Like, that's just who guys are. If you panic and you forget your fundamentals and you aren't fundamentally sound, when things go south, you go south, your whole technique goes south, and you go, and people are like, oh, well, he'll figure it out who can coach. No, like, you can't be coached how to, like, stay calm under pressure. Like, you either have that gene or you don't. And, like, Jackson worries me. I'm not saying he can't get better or won't get better. I'm just saying in year 3, he hasn't shown me much of anything. The only time he's really shown me much is at guard. I think actually he's better at guard. And actually, I'd leave him as a backup at this point. But with even Eichenberg bothers me. So I want to see Robert Jones. I saw Larnell Coleman got reps at left tackle. I want to see him get reps at right tackle. I want to see Robert Jones at right tackle. I kind of want to see Liam Eichenberg at right tackle, but he bothers me a little bit. But I wouldn't mind seeing Eichenberg. What can you do at right tackle? Although he scares me too. I want to see what I really want to see what Coleman and Robert Jones have at right tackle, or if anything, Robert Jones at right guard, Hunt at right tackle. But the depth on the offensive line is scaring me right now. I see Tevin Jenkins could be available at the Bears. I'd jump all over it.
Yeah,
unless we have to give him a first-round pick, which no thanks.
No.
But yeah,
Finn's Tailgate, what's up, brother? He said, "What's up, guys? Did you see what Preston Williams tweeted about an hour ago?" I did not. Chris,
so
what did he tweet?
He said, "I just want a chance, man." So I think that might mean from what I'm gathering, maybe he's just not getting the reps. Maybe he's just not getting looked at. I don't know. And like, I think he's just not getting as many looks as he wants and doesn't feel like he's getting the chance to really show up. But honestly, Preston Williams has never been a question talent-wise, always been injury history, but now he's like behind the curve. So I think he'll probably be either like a trade to a team that's like wide receiver needy, or he'll be cut and another team will snatch him right up. I don't think he'll go far because he can return punts. Not the most efficient guy, but he can return punts. He's a big receiver. So I think he's 6'5", so he offers something to a team. So I think he'll get picked up, no problem.
Absolutely. I mean, even I was talking about a little while back, not today, but the other day, but Preston Williams, I mean, what he offered Tua, when he was healthy, he was that big body, or Tua, if Tua's in trouble, he just throws that ball up and Preston comes down with it. But I think Mohamed Sanu was the writing on the wall for Preston Williams. And it's Sanu caught a touchdown from Tua, I think, too, a deep touchdown. So, I agree with you on Preston Williams. And the offensive line, I talked a lot about it at the top of the show, where my concern is with that. I mean, especially when somebody's telling me not to worry about it because it's pads and, shorts. But as I was saying, I mean, history has shown that they have struggled. If Terron Armstead goes down and Connor Williams goes down, you're going to have basically the same offensive line, just downgraded. Mike Dieter's hurt. Depth is a key here, and depth is the Dolphins don't have. I forgot.
And I don't like Connor Williams at center so much. And if he fails, or they're like, hey, put him back at left guard, the option's not really there. So what do you do at center now?
Exactly, and that's the problem. Yes, as I was saying during the show, this team has so much potential. Absolutely, Dolphin fans should be excited. We're all excited about the potential of this team. No matter where you stand at the quarterback position, no matter where you stand at running back, whatever, the potential of this team is very exciting. But offensive line is key. Consistency is key. If one of those guys who has a history like Terron Armstead goes down, it's in the shits. I mean, you got to hope, as I said before, is that it is development and not investment. You got to hope that Mike McDaniel and company have really bring out the best in these guys, because if they don't, if it's the same old, it's going to be the same old with the Dolphins. Finn's logo says, did anyone know anything about Preston in the offseason, working out, getting better? No, he was a ghost in fashion show. Cut him, not worth the time he gets hurt. I'm sure he does have injury.
But he has injury history. And, we've had enough of that. We do have, and I'm going to keep reiterating, we have enough guys even on the top of the roster that have injury history. And that does include X, who has been healthy the last couple of years, knock on wood. So, Byron Jones came to us healthy. He's been banged up throughout the couple years here, and he's been a trooper fighting through groin injuries, knee sprains, and all that stuff. So I love the roster, but I have concerns, and injury are always going to be a concern, but injury history is a concern for me right now.
I agree with you. And
depth on the line is still just, God, that scares me.
You spoke about the offensive line. We talked about it at the top of the show, but I'm gonna I was talking about recent comments from Austin Jackson and Eichenberg. And
Evan, I think Robert Jones should get a chance either at right guard or right tackle, left guard, somewhere on the field.
No, for sure. Currently, the offensive line is projected as follows, based off comments from Eichenberg and Jackson. The Dolphins starting line is Armstead at left tackle, which is obvious. Right. Eichenberg has stated he is practicing at left guard. He's been getting advice from Connor Williams and Austin Jackson. Williams is at center right now. Hunt at right guard, and Jackson says he is currently practicing at right tackle. That is currently the projected offensive line for the Dolphins. Now, like I said, things could change during the preseason. They might move Connor back at left guard, but looks like they're probably sticking with him at center. And, of course, Jones, we bring Robert Jones, Coleman, goodness gracious, what's this guy that we signed from Arizona State?
Deach.
Deach. You don't know, right tackle. Yeah. That's the question mark. And that's my thing. How comfortable are we with, and I'm rooting for Austin Jackson.
Completely forgot to mention him.
Yeah, no, but I'm rooting for Austin Jackson. And, and I'm hoping the staff brings the best out of him. So I don't like when players get the bust label. But right now, him and Ibanagani have that label on them.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, they were drafted, and even when they were drafted, they felt like reaches.
Yes, they did.
Felt there's better players available, and it felt like they were projects, and that we weren't in a luxury side to draft them. We weren't in a luxury situation to draft them. So I'm not really excited about that. Like, I mean, if they're bust, they're bust. If they're going to be bust, just move on. Like, don't try to drag it out. That's my biggest problem. Like, the Dolphins try to, let's make something out. Let's make something out. Look, man, draft something else. Move on. Like, or try to develop them, but have your plan in place to move on from them. And they usually don't. And like Eichenberg at left guard is where I projected him in the NFL as a guard because of his shorter arms and stature. Although I have my doubts about where I had him projected, and guys usually don't start out the way he did and make a leap up. So if he could at least be serviceable. And like Hunt, we know who Hunt is. He's not an all-pro, but he's a stud. He just solid, does his job, right? And he could be an all-pro in time. And we know Williams can be a good run blocker, but he's inconsistent. And Armstead is all-pro, but often injured. So, but Eichenberg between Williams and Armstead could be very good, like between veterans.
And Finn's logo, you're absolutely right, man. And that's like, don't get me wrong. Again, I think the biggest. And Ingold is my favorite out of the signings this season because we're a running type team now. But when I think the most important acquisition for Miami this year was the coaching staff. I keep saying that. Mm-hmm. They are the key. But you're right. Finn's logo says also, guys, the coaches need to prove themselves. Lots of Dolph fans think everything is going to be great. 12-5, 11-6, etc. Yes. I am hopeful. But I've been snake bit too many times ever since Schuler. Preach, brother. Preach. That's the point. That's the point. Every season, I was just having this conversation with somebody, the other Dolphins fan, the other day. I believe in this coach. You're going to turn it around. Everything. I like the coach. I'm rooting for the coach. But I hear the same thing every year with Flores, Gase, Philbin, Saban, Cameron, Flores, and now McDaniel. This coach is going to change things. We're going to be this. We're going to be that. Every year. Can't we just sit back and wait it out? It's okay to be happy. It's okay to be excited, but it's okay also to take a sit back and look at the whole picture. Yep. I hear you, Finn's logo, and I'm rooting for McDaniel. I love the staff he's put together. That's a plus. It's better than what Flores had, but let's wait and see how it plays out.
And you know what? And the one thing I will say is that they say all the right things. Yes. They have the right idea mentality, but at the end of the day, it's about proving it and putting it out on the field and showing. I mean, so the guys say that they love McDaniel, and what I'm hearing is the players do love McDaniel, but they loved Flores too. That's all we heard. They loved Flores. They loved Adam Gase. So we've heard this before. It's when things go south, what happens? When things get tough, that's when they find out the true character of the coach. So, and what I want to see, because I think that McDaniel is kind of a ballsy kind of guy. I don't think he's the kind of guy that's like, well, what would people think if I did this? I think he's the kind of guy like, well,
just do it.
I have an idea. Let's try it. Kellen Dietz and Blaise Andrews are nimble guys, athletic guys. They already have Linnell Coleman filling in for Armstead on his veteran rest day, which I like because I think Coleman's athletic. He was a former tight end, moves very well. So I think maybe, and he's a lot like Armstead athletic-wise and build when Armstead got in the league. So Coleman stepping in there, and he actually, to me, showed some promise in preseason before he got hurt. So I think having him stepping up, seeing what you have in him before you move on. I think right now with Austin Jackson, I think what's happening is let's see what he's got. I think as soon as the pads come on, I think we're going to start seeing shuffling on the offensive line. I think we're going to start seeing musical chairs. We're going to start seeing guys like, if you're not stepping up, next person.
And offensive, and supposedly Steve brought up a little earlier, right, was that pads go on tomorrow. So
yeah,
we're going to see pretty soon. It's a very exciting time to be a Dolphins fan because a lot of questions will be answered pretty damn shortly.
Well, look, if your footwork is so bad you're falling over and no pads, I'm scared.
I'm with you 100%, brother, and I'm rooting for the kid. All right, you're caught in your feelings, understandably so. I put this topic in here because you made it known to me, so we're going to talk about it. Let's retouch base. We touched base on it a little earlier already, Brett, but we'll touch on it again. Deshaun Watson, man, former U.S. District Judge Sue Robinson, working with the NFL and the NFL Players Association, recommended after doing some, the hearings and all that Deshaun Watson should be suspended only 6 games. She said, this is due to 24 civil lawsuits made against him. He did settle 20 of those lawsuits. Jeremy Fuller of ESPN tweeted the following. Sue Robinson's comprehensive 15-page conclusion stated that though Deshaun Watson violated the personal conduct policy, there was just not enough evidence to justify an indefinite suspension per source. The belief is that that's what the league wanted, end quote. There were some Dolphin fans who were happy that we didn't sign him, that we didn't trade for him. There were others that were actually not happy with it because he was only suspended 6 games. Right. What's your feelings on the Watson news today? Where do you stand on that?
So, I mean, it's no secret that I wanted to trade for Watson, but I kept saying if he's cleared of it, so because there was a lot of questions about like the validity of everything, and no one had any answers of how legit things were. And I completely agree with anybody who still didn't want anything to do with it, even if he was cleared of it. But if he was cleared and went to court and he didn't, and it was over, then, I was all about it. But I didn't really want him for 2 reasons. 1, I really don't want to be associated with that if he's found guilty of all that. And 2, I don't want to give up the picks and then have him suspended and all this stuff. But my problem isn't so much that he got 6 games. My problem is that the inconsistency of the NFL. So Ezekiel Elliott was suspended for 6 games for hearsay of assaulting a woman, was accused of it, and then the NFL agreed that it wasn't a credible witness or source, yet he was still suspended. Okay, so NFL pretty much had all right, you know what? You're accused of it. We don't know who to believe. We're just going to go ahead and suspend it, whatever. Okay, but now the NFL suspends Watson. There's 1 woman with Zeke, right? So ignore the 23. The NFL said he used 5 cases. 5. And he got 6 games. So the assaults of 5 women is the same as assault of 1. Yes, assaulting 1 woman is 1 too many, right? I completely agree with that mentality, but he assaulted 5 women, and that's what they used, and he violated the policy. Then the NFL suspends Calvin Ridley for gambling for 17 games. Now, I don't agree with gambling. there's people back in the day used to get themselves in trouble with the wrong people, and the athletes weren't paid what they're get paid now, so they couldn't pay out their debts, and things happen. But these guys still gamble, whether people realize it or not. Michael Jordan's a big gambler. A lot of these guys gamble. They don't realize it. But he was dumb enough to put his name on it, and I get it. He got suspended 17 games. But you're going to suspend somebody 17 games for an entire season. A guy can go out there and assault women and get 6 games. Like, even if he was found guilty of those 5, like, you're still going to give him 6 games? Like, I don't understand. And the judge made the decision based on the rules and the black and white. And I know you can't, and I know she mentioned trying to be fair with the rules and all, but I mean, I hate to say it, but make an example out of it. They completely screwed up the whole Ray Rice debacle. And then Ray Rice did everything you wanted him to do after he got suspended 1 game. I forgot it was suspended 4. That he did everything you wanted him to do, went to counseling, did everything on his own, was not told to do that. Watson had to have stuff in his contract to protect him, and stuff with the suspension had stuff to go along with it. Like, he's supposed to get massages with the team facility only, and this and that. Like, Ray Rice got none of that. He did everything he did was on his own, and he never showed back up in the league again. And he still had plenty of days ahead of him. And then I know that's why they went to a third party, but the third party is making them look like even worse hypocrites. Like, it's insane. Like, as a woman right now, I wouldn't even want to watch the NFL. Like, that's just like, if Deshaun Watson got a year suspension, even with the hearsay, even though it wasn't officially found, 23 women probably aren't lying. But I mean, maybe those 5 were the ones that like weren't either. Those were like the 5 worst cases, and either the rest were lying or the rest were not as bad, or whatever the case may be. But still, like, 5 was 5 to me is enough to suspend you for an entire season. And then if you want to go through and appeal it, you can go through, take your time to appeal it, go through all that. But I'm suspending for an entire season. Then if you want to appeal it, go ahead, because he can still appeal the 6 games. And the NFL apparently wants to appeal it and push it longer. I don't know. I just find it idiotic that we're just going to suspend a guy for the entire season for gambling. Fine, suspend a guy an entire season for assaulting women. And last year was not a suspension. That was not a suspension. He didn't want to play for the Texans. He got his paycheck. The bare minimum of his paycheck is still a lot of money, and he's not getting suspended. So
I get it.
What are we doing here? Like, I mean, like, and I would have traded for him if they settled and all that stuff, and like it was like no criminal cases and all that stuff. I get it. Like, if nothing was criminal and there's no evidence, whatever, okay, then we traded. But I'm glad we didn't, because it would have followed a circus. I mean, we already have enough of that now.
Yep, we just said that earlier. Yep,
we have too much of a circus now, and I would much rather go get draft the quarterback at this point, or get somebody else. But yeah, that was I wanted Watson before all this stuff came out. By the way, as soon as he said that he wanted to trade out of Houston, I was all about trading for him. And then all this stuff came out. And I was a Watson supporter when he was at Clemson. And I was telling people that he was going to be one of the best quarterbacks from that draft. And I had people not believe me he would be a good NFL quarterback. And I knew he would. Like, I was high on Watson. And I think he's a fantastic player in the field. But, I mean, it is hard to kind of swallow what he's done. So I just don't understand the NFL. But I'm going to be honest with everybody. In college, I took sports management, and I learned stuff about sports. I kind of wish I didn't, because it takes the sunshine and rainbows away. But professional sports are not run by how can I say it? They're not run by the people you think they're run by. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. I've seen things. I've seen people that I grew up watching play, doing things, and nothing crazy, but just like, that's not the guy I remember playing for that team, but he is a human being. So, like, I mean, I've seen it, but then again, in my time in the military, I've seen people that I thought were like these outstanding leaders, and I see what they do, and I'm away from home, and I'm like, oh man, I used to look up to you, dude. Now I don't. And so it's in every profession, but the professional sport leagues are not run by the people you think they are. Just look at Robert Kraft.
And Yeah, he said some stuff today too.
Yeah, he has something to say, and look what he did. He knew what he was doing.
Hey, and I see the people in the comment, Cap for Life. I always appreciate him, Evan, Finn's fan, who I've seen, and I appreciate you watching, brother, and putting your comments in here. And I know everybody has a difference of opinion, and again, I was before the cases. And look, okay, let me just say, as I said earlier, now that Brett's here, I'll say it again. Before the cases, you could go back to Finn's talk today when before the case, I was like, when Watson was first being connected to the Dolphins, I was like, hey, if you're for trading for Watson, you're not wrong. If you're for sticking with Tua, you're not wrong, because Watson, we know what he is. We know he's one of the best quarterbacks in football. He's only 26. He's all this. Tua, you don't know what you have, but there's potential there. And you spent a 5th overall pick. Both people in the aisle were correct. Now in the cases when you got 1, 2, 3, 20, what was it? 24 civil lawsuits. I know, I believe in innocent till proven guilty, but when you look like a duck, quack like a duck, smell like a duck, you're a duck.
Well, and I have a daughter, so I have to err on the side of the women.
No,
and
I have 2 daughters. I agree.
And I know somebody personally that was lied on, that a woman lied about, and then recanted that and all that, and it kind of messed his life up at first. So I know that does happen, but 23. But let's be honest. I'm going to throw something. Sorry, Bobby.
No. Go.
I want to throw something out there. 2 things on this. One, if those cases never happened, we would still have people saying they didn't want to trade for Watson because we had Tua. If those cases never happened and Watson was just available for trade, no off the field, nothing, these guys are like, oh no, I still don't want him. We got Tua. Dude, I would be like, no questions asked.
Evan and Evan's my brother, man. I appreciate everything he does. He's going to be doing a show for us or with us shortly. It's called Finn's Bandwagon. Once he gets back into town, we can start working on that, so everyone will tune into that, and it'll be exciting. But Evan just said earlier in a comment that if Flores was still the head coach, he would be the most negative one, and I had to say that's bullshit, BS. I said, come on, Evan, that's a lie. Because the people would have found a reason to be okay with that. They would have said, hey, he has a winning record. He wins every year. The team gets better. Give him 1 more year to hire an offensive coordinator. It would have been the same thing. It's every year we go through the same freaking thing. And that's okay. There's a reason to be excited. But
watch, rinse, repeat, man. Watch, rinse, repeat every time.
That's
but
correct.
I'll say one thing. The other thing I want to say about that, going back to Tua, what we have now, right? Be consistent. Now all of a sudden we're protecting everybody. The same people that were like blasting Austin Jackson last year are like, well, new coaches have to give him a chance this year. I'm all for it. But look, you can't hide what you did before. And I don't care what system it is. No system is asking you for your feet to be out behind your shoulders. No system asks you to panic and start flailing your hands and throwing your feet out wide. No system ever asks you to do that. All systems ask you to keep your technique. Technique may adapt and adjust.
There's things that are coachable and there's other things that are mental. Yeah.
You're going to do things within your technique, but when you're making the same mistakes up here, I don't care what coaching staff you have. It doesn't matter. Don Shula we could bring Don Shula directly back from 1972, put him on his team, and you're still not going to get better because it's just who you are. And let's be honest, guys have talent levels that they never reach sometimes. That's why the elites are so hard to find. How many guys are at Cheetah's level? Not many.
No.
Right. So that's why he's so elite, because not many are there. And you're always trying to find those elite players. And like
there's a lot of fast players. There's a lot of guys who are some of the fastest in the world that are playing football right now. There's a lot of guys that make special catches, but not a lot of them have the mental aspect that Tyreek has. He has it.
Exactly. And let's be honest. Look, more competition you have, the better this team's going to be. And you don't have to protect players when they play bad. Look, they're playing bad. They're playing bad. I like that people called the offensive line out last year, even though it wasn't always their fault. And there were certain situations like, it's never mind. So, like I'm watching, like okay, that's the
I'm gonna-
quarterback's fault. But and that was Brissett a lot did that, concrete feet.
I wanna touch on what Evan said. He said this is his big time prediction, Mr. Notre Dame is over here. He says the Dolphins will win before the Browns. So if Jacoby Brissett is starting 6 games for the Cleveland Browns, you're absolutely right.
I don't know. That run game. They have a smart coach. Jacoby Brissett will not win them games, but if their defense can keep them in a game,
who wins the game first?
Who wins the game first?
Yeah.
Oh, the Dolphins do.
Oh, okay, cool. Then he's right. What's up?
But I mean, like he's saying they'll be out of it by the time Watson's back.
Okay.
I don't think that's the case. I think the run game and their defense.
No, I don't agree with that.
Will keep them in it, just like Miami's run.
The Browns have a good roster, man. They do, despite Watson.
They seriously do. So I don't agree with that. Now Miami probably will win their first game first. That don't really matter because it's how you finish the season. But
that's correct. How you finish. Hey man, very quick before we run into, because I'm gonna hit you with some Dolphins trivia. We're gonna see how smart you actually are, Mr. Sports Management. Now I will say this, guys. I want to talk about our show very quick with overtime, because Brett, like me, is gonna pull some. Well, I put triple duty, and behind the scenes as well. But Brett is gonna pull some double duty. We're gonna talk about that. But what we're gonna do with overtime, there's a lot of Dolphin content right now. We got a great show at Fitz Talk today on Saturdays. As I said, Evan will soon be coming on, and he'll be joined with Hank. And then we got, of course, Bottoms Up, Fins Up, which is on Thursdays at 8 o'clock Eastern Time with Mike the Hebrew Hammer Brown and his dad Lewis. If you missed the first episode, go to our network page, hit that like and subscribe button. Watch their first show. They're great. They're fun. I love the energy. They're going to be traveling to some restaurants and bars and during games, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But overtime here, of course, we're going to talk Dolphins. It's right, but we're going to do a little more going into the season. There's other shows that we're working on. We're working on it. But one thing that we love to do, Brett and I, and that's why we're a little different than most people. We look at the game a little differently. So we're going to bring that to overtime. But as we're talking about the Dolphins this season, we're going to talk about team needs, and then we're going to talk about college football. But by college football, we're talking about upcoming draft prospects. We're talking about the offensive line. So we're going to be looking at some offensive linemen. We're talking about running backs. We'll look at running backs. There's positions as we go on throughout this season that we're going to be looking at. So by the time the draft comes around, you watching the show and watching the network will be well equipped to know what the Dolphins' needs are and what players should fit those needs. And we're not going to talk about the popular guys. We're going to be talking about the lower tier guys because, as Brett has said, history has shown, we got a few aces in the hole when it comes to talking about guys people were trying to sleep on. So that's something that we're excited about. And again, we're working on those shows when it comes to college football. And if you like talking college football, hit us up. But man, let's first talk about, before we go to Dolphins trivia, Cat for Life is excited about it. I am too. I love Finn's trivia. I hit Hank with this, so I'm gonna hit Brett with this because I want to see if he's young like me. So let's see if he remembers those guys because we went through those years together in separate states. But hey, man, I'm excited, dude. We're building this network, brother. You've been helping me out a lot behind the scenes on the show. We've always talked about doing a show together. Man, we got overtime. But we got Bottoms Up, Fins Up joining us. We got the Goon Squad. We're doing a lot of things. But hey, we don't want to just talk about, which we love the Dolphins, but we want to branch out and talk about other things as well, especially the NFL. We love football. So we've discussed this in the past, and man, you came to me today actually and introduced me to Dave. And we come up with a show, you and Dave Stager, right? Is that I'm pronouncing that right?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, yeah.
God, I hope that's right.
Because steak and cheese.
Steak and cheese, that's right. That's his Twitter handle, steak and cheese. This guy is fun. He's funny. He loves The Office, apparently. I'm a fan of The Office. But Dave Stager and Brett Lagasse, they're going to be talking about the NFL. They're going to go around the league. It's called Huddle Up and Wait. I got the logo here. God, I hope I can stay here. Let me pull this up very quick. Huddle up and wait. Go around the league with Dave Stager and Brett Lagasse. This show will air on Thursday night right after Bottoms Up, Fins Up. They air at 8 o'clock. They go about 35 to 40 minutes. And then at 9 p.m., Dave and Brett will come on and it'll talk about the NFL, go around the league with all the news, reactions, etc. Brett, man, tell the audience, tell us what the show's going to be about. Tell us about Dave and you and why this is special.
So Dave approached me about wanting to do a show. He said, dude, we got to do a show together. I'm an unbiased Packers fan. You're an unbiased Dolphins fan. It just makes sense. We could just do a show about just unbiased NFL takes because we could both talk NFL. We both need a break from like our team and just be able to talk entire NFL. Plus, I love talking with the Dolphins, but I can also talk about the NFL and different things. And you see, I ranted about with Deshaun Watson and throw some things out there. And, then I get to actually talk about some of my draft crushes I've seen and how they're doing too. So, it was his idea. And we're both veterans too. He's Army, I'm Air Force, so it's perfect. We both have the rough around the edges, like we'll call it as we see it, the bluntness, and it's exciting. And I've known Dave a couple years, working with a couple different networks with him, and it's exciting because like he has some connections. He's worked with some guys in the past. I want to say he worked with Jimmy Smith on the show. I think I can't remember. Anyway, he worked with a former player in the show before. And we got a couple of mutual friends, and it's going to be a blast. I'm excited for it because it's going to be like a fun two guys just calling it as it is. Just say, and we're not always going to agree. I mean, the only thing I'll say we're both homers on is I think Xavier Howard's the best corner in the league. He thinks Jair Alexander is. So I mean, we disagree there. So we've had discussions on Facebook, on Twitter before about different things. So I'm like really excited about that. So it's going to be fun. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. We're both dads too, so like we both work so in the same kind of field. So we're going to be like we'll be right on time, but we're going to have plenty to say though. It's going to be a blast. I really hope you guys tune in. It's going to be on Thursdays at 8 or 9 o'clock.
9
step on now. Yep, at 9 o'clock, and it's going to be. I think you guys will really enjoy this. It won't be, and Bobby will still be here helping us produce it, and he'll still be hanging out with us. Don't worry, we'll throw in some stuff in there, maybe some NFL trivia on that show. We'll see.
That's right. Yeah, I will be there. I'm excited, man. I love where the network is growing, and everyone who's helped out and people just commenting. I mean, you guys are a part of the Fins Talk Network. Evan obviously will be joining us. Kevin, bro, first off, thank you for your service. Kevin says thank you for your service, Brett.
Yes,
to
thank
you and Dave. But Steve, Cat for Life, Fitz, everyone who's been with us from the beginning and is still with us now, and every episode is on here commenting. You guys are a part of this network, in my opinion, because you guys are so loyal, and we're loyal to you. And again, you're always welcome to come on to the show if you just want to talk about Dolphins or whatever you feel like talking about. Evan, you said hockey, brother. We're looking at doing that too, so if you're interested, hit me up, man. Let's talk about that too.
I got to talk some of my Florida Panther friends, see what they want to do.
Exactly, yeah, we'll get something together. And he's in Canada, so they love hockey. No,
oh yeah,
that's not stereotyping, but it's just
I don't know anything about hockey. Like everybody keeps telling me it's the best sport you watch in person, and yet they go to a game, and I want to go to a Flyers game. It's just because they're close by.
They love hockey here. I'm in Nashville. Of course, they got the Preds, and they love hockey. But hey, all right. So yes, so guys, huddle up and wait. 2 vets, 2 dads, 2 cool dudes. With Dave Stager and Brett Lagasse. I'm excited. I will be there. I'll be in the background. I might poke my head in if Brett needs something from me, but it's going to be a good time. But hey, let's play some Dolphins trivia.
Let's go.
Evan says I will teach Brett about hockey. All right. So we've done it. I've hit Hank with this, and as Evan has said, everybody should be better at trivia than Mr. Hank, Fish Tank Hank. Watch out for those Panthers. 72 Fins. You're damn right. And they got a good young guy, too. Go Tampa Bay Bolts. All right, we got some hockey fans up in the – all right, guys. I feel confident about adding a hockey show here. And if any of you want to do hockey, let me know. I'll help you. You're not on your own. This is what Fins Talk Network. We got
hockey fans are sneaky, man. Hockey fans are all over. They're sneaky.
Out of nowhere. Damn. All right. Yep. So let's get to Fins Talk Network trivia here. Dolphins trivia. All right, brother. This is around our era of football. Jason Taylor, Zach Thomas, etc. Can you name every Miami Dolphins quarterback after Dan Marino retired in 1999. You could start from now backwards if that helps you, or you could start. For me, I got two. Out of all of them, I missed two guys. Well, excuse me.
All right.
I'll be
Say that
three
again.
Guys. Three guys. Can you name?
I want to make sure I do this one.
All right, every Dolphins quarterback after Dan Marino retired. This is our era.
Oh my God! So we'll go after Dan. We'll go Heward.
Damon Heward. Okay.
Yep. Not to be confused with his brother Brock.
No.
Shoot.
Number 9.
I'm thinking so far back. It's Fiedler. I was thinking that we went right to Fiedler. And then you had Ray Lucas in there, right?
That's right. Ray Lucas.
Ray Lucas was in there. Brian Griese was in there.
Yep.
And these are guys that started, correct?
Yes. Started, came in. Yep.
Okay. And then after that, you had AJ Feely in there.
Philadelphia Eagles trade. I remember that.
Yep. Oh man, I thought we were on to something with that. Come to find out Andy Reid was just a genius. All right, so
he did have the upset with New England Monday Night Football, orange jerseys. I just watched that game. All right.
So after AJ, it was.
Damn, you're going down the list.
Yeah, I mean that same year we had AJ. We had a couple quarterbacks that year though.
This guy was like a long time backup. He came in a couple times.
Oh man, I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, you'll be pissed once you know a name like I was.
Oh, because I know there's Dante. You got Culpepper in there.
Culpepper, yeah, Dante Culpepper. We traded from, or no, we signed from Minnesota. We didn't trade for him.
No, we traded for him.
Oh, did we trade for him? Okay.
Yeah, we gave up picks for him, and we could have just signed Drew Brees. So, yeah.
Nick Saban was all happy too. So Dante Culpepper.
Oh man, there's a guy I'm forgetting had played in 2004. And it wasn't Brian Griese. Jay Fiedler was.
If you don't figure it out, you're gonna be pissed once I say the name. I know you will be, because I was.
Oh my God, it's like right there. I'm gonna keep going. I'll come back to it.
Okay, go ahead.
So we had Dante Culpepper. We had Cleo Lemon.
Yep.
We had Gus Frerotte.
That's right. Minnesota Viking.
Yep. John Beck.
Yep. BYU. We drafted him.
Chad Henne. Chad Pennington, Ryan Tannehill, Matt Moore, Brock Osweiler, Jake Cutler, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Tua Tagovailoa, Jacoby Brissett.
Did you say Josh Rosen? You said
Rosen,
right? Okay.
Josh Rosen. Oh man.
All right.
So, man.
You're missing. You want me to tell you how many you're missing?
No, because I could see it now. I'm like drawing a blank in his name because I knew he threw for like 600 yards against.
No, you want me to tell you how many you're missing?
Oh yeah. How many am I missing?
Four.
All right, so there's one I'm thinking about that played with AJ the same year as AJ Feely.
Yep, he was with us from 2004 to 2006. He was a backup, but he started some games. I think he's a coach now.
No, maybe. Joey Harrington only played 2006, right?
Yeah, Joey Harrington. So that's your one.
Yeah, because he's the one I'm thinking of that threw for like 600 yards against the Packers. He actually threw for more yards than Brett Favre that game. We still lost. I got a friend that's a Packers fan. Never let me live that one down. Oh man. So how many am I missing now? 2.
You're missing 3.
3. Well, all right, let's go back. So I can't think of 2004, 2005. Gus Frerotte. All right. And then
you got Gus already, yeah.
Yep. 2006. We had Culpepper and Joey Harrington. And 2007, we had Cleo. I'm missing the quarterback from 2007. We had Cleo Lemon. We had
Who was the quarterback?
Oh, Trent Green.
There you go.
Trent Green. Yeah. Oh my God, I remember that Travis Johnson hit him with his knee.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
He said, "I hope I effing killed him." Like, oh my God.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah. Oh man, I can't remember.
I was excited about Trent Green when we got him. I liked Trent Green in Kansas City, man.
Yeah.
I was so
he
excited.
did so good there, and then when he just got clobbered, I was like, oh my god, I don't think he's ever playing again.
No, and he didn't. We had Cleo Lemon, the Baltimore game.
Hey, you know, Cleo Lemon, he played respectable.
Hey, he's a savior, man. He won one game. We didn't go down there.
Look, Saban actually traded for him to bring him into the practice squad, off the practice squad, to emulate Mike Vick coming. Now, Marcus Vick never started, right?
No,
he was a wide receiver.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's all I got. I can't think it's
You're good.
I can't think of it.
So I'll tell you. So for me, now I'm
oh my god,
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So about 5 of them were for me. But okay, so Tyler Thigpen.
Oh yeah, I forgot that he did start a game.
2010. Yep. Sage Rosenfels was who you were missing. That was the guy, Rosenfels.
I see the comments. Yep. I just completely forgot that I forgot about him.
So, and then of course you got Joey Harrington. That was the other one, but you got it. So 3. So Thigpen and Rosenfels, because you did get Green. So only 2 that you missed. So for me,
Sage.
It was Ray Lucas, which pissed me off. Harrington, Rosenfels, and Beck. That's where I was drawing the blanks. Beck I should have remembered, but Harrington and Rosenfels I remember because he used to start games for us, and you know,
I forgot all about him. And the sad part is he was actually
Jason Garrett. Sorry, Jason
never
Garrett
started.
Yeah, he wasn't a starter, and I don't think it was.
But he did play under Saban, which. Was he there?
No, he didn't play for Miami at that time.
No,
I don't remember Garrett with the Dolphins.
Was he under Jimmy Johnson?
Probably under Jimmy Johnson, but I think he coached. He was an offensive coordinator, I believe, for Miami at one point. Jason Garrett.
Well, I know. Man, I forgot. North Turner was offensive coordinator around that time too.
North Turner, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, man.
But man,
holy quarterback! Like I mean, we're competing with the Browns at this point.
That's correct. I know that's the whole thing. And who knows? Is the list ended for now or not so much? Anyway, don't give it away.
Bad part is it even if we were like, oh, we'll get Brady next year, the list is going to keep going because I mean Brady.
That's right, Brady. Let's not end on a negative note. You're gonna piss heaven off. All right. So we're at 1 hour and 30 right now. But hey guys, look, don't forget. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. This is the Fins Talk Network, Fins Talk Overtime on the Fins Talk Network. I thank everybody who's tuned in. Evan, Cap for Life, Fins logo, man. I hope you continue to join us. Fins Tailgate, Steve, everybody. If I'm forgetting someone, forgive me. And everyone who watches the show afterwards, man, put your comments below. Tell us what you guys think about the Deshaun Watson situation. Miami Dolphins training camp. It's a good time to be a Dolphins fan because excitement is in the air. It's just about waiting and seeing and hoping that the coaching staff does make the difference when it comes to the offensive line and company. But the receivers, again, like I said, the receivers, there's no debate there. Especially the key wide receivers are doing what they were advertised and doing. Let's just hope it transitions to the season.
Hey, let's be honest. I mean, the top of the roster is so deep that we don't even know who's going to make it. Everybody's fighting for 1 or 2 spots.
That's right.
There's this offense has a lot of depth except for offensive line.
100%. So again, tomorrow instead of Wednesday this is what's going on in Fins Talk Network this week. Tomorrow is the Goon Squad. We talk, of course, about the Miami Heat and the NBA. If the Kevin Durant deal is out the door, what happens at the 4 position? Do the Heat ride into the season with Caleb Martin, or do they go out and try to trade for John Collins out of Atlanta? Wednesday we're off. Thursday we have Bottoms Up, Fins Up with Mike the Hebrew Hammer Brown and his dad Lewis, possibly a special guest. I'm not going to say nothing yet until they confirm it. Just keep your eyes out on that. That starts at 8 o'clock Eastern time Thursday night, and then the premiere episode at 9 p.m. Eastern with Brett Legacy and Dave Stager with Huddle Up and Wait, which is an NFL show. They talk about the entire NFL, not just the Dolphins, not just the Packers, but pretty much, they're going to talk about everything. Yeah. And then Saturday, of course, Fins Talk Today with Fish Tank Hank and myself. Hank should be in Florida by then, so we're going to look at that. But until then, guys, Evan says he will report on camp on Friday. So look for Evan's tweets as he tweets live. And I think Tammy from Miami will be there as well. Spoiler, that's my mother. She helps out in the background.
Evan, you asked last week. I am wearing Dolphins gear this week.
He says congratulations. He says congrats to Brett for wearing. And then he was hammering on me because I didn't wear it. I got home from work. Right. Where's your Dolphins gear? He's pulling at Brett. I was like, all right, man.
I usually don't have I don't have a lot of Dolphins gear I wear. I have like a lot of hoodies and hats, or I have a handful of hats left. But that's it.
I have plenty of stuff.
I wore the hell out of my shirts, but I don't wear jerseys a lot.
He's just picking. But hey, guys, thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button, and most importantly, as always, fins up. We'll see you next week. Or actually, we'll see you Thursday.